Weekend edition begins now with our top story for tonight. The United States Embassy in Kenya has defended the 5-year U.S.-Kenya Health Cooperation Framework signed yesterday in Washington, D.C. President William Ruto witnessed the signing of the 208 billion shillings agreement, which has sparked mixed reactions online. The U.S. Embassy clarified that the deal is not a loan but a partnership aimed at supporting Kenya's priority health programs. During this period, the government of Kenya has committed to increase domestic health spending by $850 million, gradually taking on greater financial responsibility as U.S. support decreases over the course of the framework. The agreement provides direct funding to key government systems, including the ambitious Social Health Authority, making Kenya the first country in Africa to enter a government-to-government health funding agreement with the United States.
We are just putting on paper the similar policies that we've followed for many, many years in this space. And so any data sharing going forward will be aggregated data. In other words, not personally identifiable data. And it'll be aggregate data so that we can collect information like the 1.3 million of people who are on antiretroviral treatment. So there's no individual identifying data.
Transition of healthcare workers is going to involve really sitting down with each county to identify the amount of healthcare workers we have, the ones that the county government is willing to take on, and again, hopefully the funding comes there through SHA to be able to pay for them, and work with them around how do we transform and change the cadres that we have that are very HIV or disease focused into one that's more holistic.
Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is now urging President William Ruto and members of parliament to show goodwill and put in place a clear, long-standing framework for the compensation of victims of demonstrations and public protest. KNCHR Chair Clarice Oganga says the commission is ready to lead the process, but is calling on both the executive and parliament to fast-track the necessary legal structures and to avoid further delays. This follows a High Court ruling on Thursday that extended an earlier declaration challenging the legality of President to form an advisory panel on compensation, and that the mandate lies with the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, that is KNCHR.
What we have been lacking is a clarity on the role of compensation, and we are happy that the court has clarified that particular clause and said that the commission has that mandate to compensate. And so for us, it's how do we then ensure that we work directly with the executive, but we also work with victims and parliament more specifically to ensure that if there's need to amend our act, to be very specific and explicit on that, and that even in terms of developing a reparations framework, then we have the roles clearly clarified within that framework on what the role of the Kenya National Commission is.
Moving on, Nyamira County MCS who voted to impeach Governor Amos Nyaribo are now accusing the Senate of denying justice to the electorate. This after senators terminated the impeachment proceedings against the embattled governor. Led by Majority Leader, the members of County Assembly claim the Senate abandoned its oversight role and failed to consider the merits of the case. They now say they will move to court to challenge the Senate's decision. Governor Nyaribo survived impeachment on a technicality after it emerged that the County Assembly did not fully comply with the law, with 38 senators voting unanimously to uphold the preliminary objection, allowing him to escape a full trial.
Senators spent much of the time debating on the PO, and finally they did not give us an opportunity to prosecute our case about the issues that have been bedeviling Nyamira. For quite a long time, we have seen issues that have led to stagnation of development in Nyamira.
What happened? That 1 hour break that my colleague leader majority in the Senate asked for. What happened after that 1 hour? That the Senate decided to vote on the preliminary objection, and 3/4 of them who were supporting us crossed over and supported the preliminary objection.
Kwa hivyo tunaomba watu wa Nyamira wawe watulivu ya kwamba tuko na njia mingi tena ya kuangalia haya maneno. Tutaenda kotini ili koti iende kusema ya kwamba idadi ya MMCA ni wangapi ambao wanatakana wafanye ile turuti mbili.
Switching gears to matters health is that health services across public hospitals in Embu County remain severely disrupted as striking doctors vow they will not return to work until the grievances are fully addressed. The medics who downed their tools on Monday alongside other county workers say service delivery across all departments of the county government has been greatly affected. Led by KMPDU National Deputy Secretary General Dr. Dennis Miskela, the doctors insisted they cannot continue attending to patients while their welfare is neglected by the employer. They accused the county government of failing to implement a signed collective bargaining agreement, which was supposed to address key welfare issues. Among the grievances raised are delayed staff promotions, non-remittance of statutory deductions, poor pay for local doctors, and shortage of medical supplies across county hospitals.
So the issues that we had in December 2023 to date have not been addressed. We wrote an agreement with our employer, with the Embu County government. They promised to address the issues that we raised in December 2023. 2 years down the line, we are still at the same place.
Vifaa vya kazi hakuna. So wagonjwa wakikuja unawaambia kwamba waende wapige picha nje, waende laboratories nje, ama dawa unakaa pale unafanya clinic, ukienda kwa system kuitisha dawa kila kitu ni OS, out of stock. So wewe tu the only thing you are doing is just dispensing hope na kuandika prescription.
Let us now turn our focus on matters education, and that where the new competency-based education curriculum, that is CBE, continues to earn praise from educators and stakeholders across the country. Speaking at St. Petrock Premier School in Runyenjes, Embu County, teachers and education experts say the curriculum is proving highly effective in helping learners identify, develop, and nurture their talents from an early age. They noted that CBE's focus on practical skills, creativity, collaboration, and problem solving is equipping students with the tools they need to tackle real-world challenges. The remarks were made during a preparedness briefing ahead of the grade 10 transition, where education is observed that the curriculum has shifted learning from a purely academic model to one that gives learners greater freedom to explore their abilities and interests.
One of the biggest stories of CBE is that it has given the learners the confidence they deserve, and has enabled them to be hands-on, and it has enabled them to have practical skills and teamwork and collaboration. It has also enabled their students to apply what they learn into real-life situations and develop different competencies and become more independent and responsible even at home. CBE is the way to go because it gives an holistic growth and development to the students. It enables them to learn both in class and outside class. So we are able to get to have a conversation kind of a thing where a student maybe could be weak in class but maybe conversating too well outside classwork. So CBE is enabling the learners to nurture all the talents, and through that we salute the system and say it's the best way to go. My call to the government is to ensure that there is constant retooling for the teachers and provision of teaching learning materials for different schools so that we can have easy transition to this in terms to teaching learning materials and what we require basically in CBE.
We have been having ongoing continuous trainings or retooling that have helped the teachers to actually get to know what CBE is all about so that we can effectively facilitate the teaching and the learning process in school. And also the learners have actually received this new curriculum with a lot of, they have embraced it because it's a curriculum that has broadened their minds, it has opened them up, it is giving them room to explore their potential, to be able to have hands-on approach when they are doing things. They can easily equate the knowledge that they get in classes and apply them in real-life scenarios or experiences in or at home rather. So it has been a slow process. We are getting there. Got learners who are who are showing promises in the digital space, that is in the codings and robotics and all that. And those are the kinds of things we want. So it has been a slow transition, but the learners and the teachers have really embraced it because we feel it is the best curriculum, because at the end of it all, it is preparing that child of yours to the world or the field of work immediately when the child is done with the junior and senior school.
Of CBE, I want to become a pilot in future, and in order to become a good pilot, I have to be confident enough to address my passengers who I'm going to fly.
Kirinyaga County Governor Anne Waiguru has launched a scorching attack on former Deputy President and Democracy for the Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua. Speaking during the launch of the Kenya Medical Training College Kirinyaga Central Campus, Waiguru said she cannot join Gachagua's political camp as she cannot be led by someone who is not eligible to vie for any political seat. She further accused Gachagua of planting seeds of discord between communities in the Mount Kenya region and other parts of the country. Waiguru further described Gachagua's attacks on the government as deceitful and inappropriate, noting that he remained silent while benefiting from the Kenya Kwanza administration before his dramatic ouster last year.
Tuambii na uongo na sitaki uongo. Mimi kwa Munyoro siendi, msiningoje huko. Kwa hivyo wale wananifuata wote na waambianga pole pole, kwa sababu uchaguzi bado hujafi. Lakini mfikirie. Hivyo mnasikia already kuna watu wanasema governor amebakisha mwaka moja. Si ndio? At least governor ako kwa kiti na anafanya kama hamna kiti mahali popote, huyo mtu tunafuata atupeleke wapi? Na si ati ataweza kusimama. Kusimama hawezi, katiba haimruhusu. Sio mimi, ni katiba. Ni vile mimi siwezi kuja nisimame tena kama governor wa Kirinyaga raundi ya 3. Kwa sababu katiba imesema nini? Sasa mtu ambaye ye mwenyewe hajui mahali anaenda, wewe unamfuata akupeleke wapi? Kwa sababu watu husema mimi nasimama kiti cha gavana, ana mimi nasimama cha president, ama nasimama cha deputy president. Si ndio? Anatakiwa kusema, lakini hata simama kiti yoyote kwa sababu haruhusiwi. Kama jamii ya Wakikuyu, sisi hatutaki kutenganishwa na jamii zingine za Kenya. Wacha nirudie tena. Sisi kama jamii ya Wakikuyu hatutaki kutenganishwa na jamii zile zingine za Kenya. Kuna watu wanafikiria hao wenyewe ndio wanaongea Mount Kenya. Mimi nitasema kura zetu hazijatosha peke yake, lazima mshirikiane na jamii zingine, na kabila mbili hazitoshi.
Machakos County Governor Wavinya Ndeti has officially inaugurated the Athi River Digital Hub in Mavoko Sub-County. The landmark initiative is designed to equip young people with advanced digital skills, enhance access to technology, and foster innovation and entrepreneurship. The hub, established by the Machakos County government, will fully provide sponsored training in high-demand fields such as digital marketing, creative technology, and artificial intelligence. Governor Wavinya said the project reflects her administration's commitment to youth empowerment and sustainable development, complementing other county programs like the annual Wavinya Cup, which attracts over 15,000 participants.
For Machakos, the embrace of the digital economy transcends mere technology adoption. It is a strategic imperative to secure the future of our citizenry. It is about ensuring that our youth are digitally equipped, our local enterprises remain competitive, and that our county maintains a position of leadership in a constantly shifting global landscape. Nilikuwa kwa Mumbuni, nimeona vijana wanatumika vibaya. Tunaelewana? Nimeona vijana wanatumika nini? Kwa nini unakubali kutumiwa na mtu fanye mambo mabaya? Ule anataka kukutumia aende alete bibi yake, watoto wake, nyanya yake na babu yake wafanye pamoja. Tunaelewana? Tunaelewa vijana? Tunaelewa? Msikubali kutumika nini? In alignment with my government comprehensive ICT development and implementation blueprint, we are committed to systematically replicating this success model across all the sub-counties in Machakos. This strategic rollout will ensure that residents throughout the county can fully capitalize on the wealth opportunities this infrastructure provides. In my foundational manifesto, I made a clear pledge to foster a county that guarantees equitable access to opportunities. I committed to empowering our youth, systematically and expanding digital access across every sub-county. Today's launch is a profound and tangible fulfillment of that core promise.
Kama mimi ni mtu nimekuwa na interest of opening like kitu kama cyber na nifanyie watu different services kama printing, photocopy and all that, na sijapata that opportunity, sina that skill, lakini venye nimepata hii nafasi, I'm very glad that after a certain period I'll be able kufanya hizo vitu zote uko nje with my own knowledge na my own skills zenye nimelearn.
This training is absolutely free, and this can also enable our youths wache kuwa idle, wache kukaa pale kwa street kuna kitu wanafanya. So I'm encouraging wale mayouths wako pale nje, take advantage of this training. Itakusaidia, itakupatia skills. Hautakaa pale nje unatumia madawa, unavuta vitu zako, but I can encourage you to come get some skills that is going to help you in future. So thank you to our governor kutuletea such a good training.
Tension is mounting in Ombolion area, Kayesi sublocation in Pokot North along the West Pokot-Turkana border after one person was shot and killed by suspected armed bandits. According to Ombolion area's chief, Joseph Kokimul, the deceased identified as 31-year-old Komole Siwa was shot dead while herding his livestock. Kokimul has called on the government to redeploy Elite Special Operations Group in the area to help beef up security, citing increased banditry attacks. Notably, insecurity has paralyzed development along the corridor and scared away investors, with the government and political leaders from the area accused of not showing any commitments to quell the violence.
Uchungu tu ambayo niko nayo, ambayo naomba tu serikali kupitia jukwaa la usalama, Mheshimiwa Waziri Murkomen aone pia vile anaweza kutupatia ulinzi thabiti kwa hii kijiji, sababu imekuwa mara kwa mara, imekuwa kwa hii mwezi tumepoteza watu 2-3 ambaye ameambushiwa tu namna hii na kulimwa na kwenda, hata akiwa na mifuko analimwa na kuwacha mifuko. So naona si picha mzuri ikiwa ni uwaji ndio itaendelea. Naomba serikali wachukue hatua haraka iwezekanavyo, ili kabla pia raia hawataweza kufanya reaction ama ulipishaji wa kisasi.
Nimehisi uchungu sana kwa kunipiga brother wangu mdogo. Kitambo baba yangu alikufa. Sasa nikategemea yeye ndiye alikuwa ananilipia school fees. Sasa hakuna mwenye tunategemea.
Kiangalia kama kijana ameacha bibi wawili na zaidi ya watoto 10. Nani atawaangalia? Tusilifumbie macho jambo hili. Linahuzunisha na linatia huruma sana. Manake ni wa Kenya. Kumbuka ni Mkenya ameuliwa, sio Mpokoti bali ni Mkenya. So ni wito wangu katika jukwaa la amani ambalo wale linafanyika na Mheshimiwa Murkomen. Tungekuomba utembelee sehemu ya West Pokot, ukuje utusaidie tupate amani pamoja na viongozi wote kutoka sehemu hii na sehemu ya Turkana. Kuana kuna sheria inasema mtu auwe mwenzake. kama kuna jambo lolote linaweza tatuliwa.
Still on that note is that the killing of a police reservist in Meru County last week has now intensified calls for tougher action against armed criminals in the region. Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has warned that the full force of the law to end the wave of banditry and lawlessness in the region. Speaking during an economic empowerment forum in Tigania West, Kindiki announced the deployment of more specialized security officers along with additional police reservists. He reiterated the administration's commitment to completely eliminate banditry and cattle rustling in Meru, citing successful security operations that have restored calm in Kerio Valley and disrupted terror networks in Lamu.
We are testing and we are in a competition on who has more power between the government of Kenya and the bandits that are raiding the people of Meru North. Na kama vile tumekwamisha magaidi wa Lamu, magaidi wa Northeastern, mahali nilikuwa naishi nikiwa waziri, magaidi wa North Rift, hata hii ya Meru North, hii magaidi tunawaendea kwao. We will go and visit them in their homes.
Pastoral rallies in Laikipia County are raising the alarm after a forceful eviction from the ADC Conservancy left them counting heavy losses. The livestock owners who took to the streets in protest claimed their animals were poisoned during the operation. Allegations which they say point to a joint action by the Conservancy management and security officers. They accuse the authorities of ignoring a valid court order allowing them to continue grazing at the Conservancy until the case is heard next year. The protesters now warn that such eviction tactics risk fueling fresh conflicts over grazing rights and threatening the livelihoods of hundreds of families in the region.
Walishoma hata watoto ya mbuzi kwa boma, walishoma kila kitu ya watoto, kila kitu ilikuwa imeshemeka. Wameshika ng'ombe, ng'ombe yetu bado iko kwa kirasha saa hii. Na sisi tuko na miaka mingi sana tukiishi huko. Tulijaribu leo kwenda kufungua hiyo ng'ombe, tukaambiwa ile kitu mtafanya muende hiyo kotini wafungulie hiyo ng'ombe. Kwa hivyo tuliingia asubuhi huko, walitukataza ng'ombe. Alituambia mrudi kwa kotini, muende mfungulie ng'ombe.
Kuwa impacted kwa hii shamba ya ATC na tumeweka koti injunction, hawaku kuheshimu, wamechoma hapa jana, akafuruka ng'ombe zetu, hata ng'ombe zetu siko kichaka huko na amefungia zingine. Kwa hivyo hata mimi mwenyewe gari yangu amezuiliwa saa hii hapo nyuma. Sijui sababu gani.
Tukaongea na ADC, tukamwambia basi kama ADC naye anasema ati shamba yetu tunataka kuweka clean ili turudie. Sasa tukauliza basi kama mnataka kuweka shamba yenu kuwe clean, basi mtoe wale ambaye imenyakua. Hii shamba ni ilikuwa ya eka 63 na saa hii ile imebaki ni 13,000. Hii 50 ameenda wapi? Sasa tukasema kwa sababu sisi ni watu ya jirani ya ADC, tukasema hata sisi tunataka kidogo.
Tujenge nyumba ambaye itatuzuia kwa mvua. Sio nyumba permanent, nyumba ambaye itatuzuia tu kwa mvua, ambaye hiyo ni karatasi. Alafu tuweze kuishi hapa. Na tulikuwa tumeelewana na hao mpaka tukafikisha maneno kotini, ambaye mimi mmoja wao ambaye niko na court order.
Let us now shift our focus to sports, and all eyes are on the Mashemeji Derby. Ahead of Sunday's highly anticipated clash against our rivals Gor Mahia, AFC Leopards head coach Fred Ambani is rallying his players to use the derby as a turning point in their Kenyan Premier League campaign. Coach Ambani says the encounter at the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi, where only 18,000 tickets have been released, presents the perfect opportunity for Ingwe to return to winning ways. He emphasized discipline, focus and belief, saying derbies are decided just as much as by mentality as by tactics. Leopards winger James Kinyanjui echoed the coach's sentiments, saying the players understand the weight of the fixture and have put in work have put in the work in training to deliver for their fans. Team captain Victor Omuni has also expressed confidence in the squad's readiness, urging his teammates to show leadership and unity if they are to overcome their long-time rivals. Meanwhile, security has been beefed up for the Sunday's Kenya Premier League clash between Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards. The uniformed officers will be complemented by stewards from the hosting team and the visiting team, that is Gor Mahia.
Self motivation kwa sababu unajua mchezaji lazima ajimotivate faster. Coach pia una motivate pia mchezaji pia ajimotivate wenyewe kwa sababu unajua it's all about mchezaji. Hata ukimotivate na nini na yeye mwenyewe yuko itakuwa ni kazi bure. So watu wengi husema motivation ni incentives, lakini unajua mimi husema ni kuna zingine zinakuwa si lazima kuwa ni incentives, zinakuwa ni wewe mwenyewe unajimotivate na unajua hii ni game kubwa, naweza gain nini kutoka hii game. Sasa ukienda nayo mentality kwa game inakuwa ushaji motivate na unajua nini utakutafuta. Kwa sababu unajua big games watu kuja ma scout kuja, hiyo ndio time ya kujiuza. So kama uwezi kuwa na hiyo mentality ya kujiuza, then uko in the wrong business. Mwanzo mimi kama coach baada ya ini ya pressure sio danganya juu the moment utachukulia game kama game nyingine as much as kuna pressure behind it, juu wewe kama coach ukijigiza pressure players watafanya nini? Unaenda kwa hiyo game walishafungwa, so show the player that hakuna pressure and then waonyeshe kuwa pia wasikuwe na pressure, wacheze game relax but wajue pressure kwa nini kufanya nini, kupea tu mafan win. No. So wakikuwa na less pressure kwa hii game lazima siji nini ifanyike ama siji unajua the moment mchezaji anakuja kwa uwanja anataka kuja kuprove fans kitu fulani then ana get wrong, but the moment anakuja kwa uwanja kuja kucheza to his best, that the most important thing kwa uwanja kucheza to your best, giving all you have, then hizo vitu zingine zitafuata.
Nachukulia kwa career yangu itakuwa ni kitu kubwa, ni kitu sijafanya kwa career yangu kwa ball, na kwa crowd kama hiyo sijawahi ona kitu kama hiyo, itakuwa mara yangu ya kwanza, so na feel proud. Yani nilikuwa natamani kwa sababu obvious kulingana na ligi yetu ya Kenya city mingi ziko na fan base kama hizi EFC Leopards na Gor Mahia ni ngumu. So mimi nimekuwa nikicheza timu kadhaa na hiyo fan base iko hivyo kama FC na Gor Mahia. So hii kwa sasa hivi hapa inanipa motisha kubwa sana. Itatusaidia kupanda juu, itatusaidia kupanda hapo juu kwa sababu kulingana na saa hii ukiangalia points, ukiangalia table saa hii watu wamechana na points si mingi sana, 3-2. So tukashinda saa hii tutakuwa hapo juu, tutaenda mahali papoa. Na tuna approach normal tu kama game ya kawaida, but kwa fans wetu sisi tunataka kuwachezea tu make proud, tuoneshe kuna kitu tuko nayo kwa sababu hatujakuwa na standing poa hizo kulingana na hizo game kadhaa tumemaliza.
Timu iko sawa, kila mtu ako set up for the derby. Ni game kubwa, you need motivation. Game yenyewe ni motivation, so kila mtu ako ready for the game, na si pia tuna believe ni time turudi back to winning ways. So na hakuna game poa kurudi back to winning ways than a derby, so tuko ready. Motivation ni derby.
The Football Kenya Federation Bungoma branch has completed its referees fitness and assessment exercise ahead of the upcoming County Football League conducted on Thursday in Kabuchai constituency. The session brought together over 80 referees, marking a crucial step in preparations before the league officially kicks off. FKF Bungoma branch Secretary General Ezekiel Murani said the exercise was meant to assess the match officials' physical readiness and professionalism to ensure they meet federation standards during the competition. Murani noted that the impressive turnouts reflected the referees' commitment and preparedness as the new season approaches. However, officials also raised concerns over the low participation of female referees. FKF Western Region Chairperson Caleb Amwai acknowledged the gender gap, saying deliberate efforts are underway to attract and empower more women to join refereeing in the near future.
Ladies generally in Western kuna shida ladies Western, na kuna program tumeanzisha ya kutafuta ladies tuwalete. Unajua wengi wao wanaogopa, lakini kuna vile zile structures tumeweka in place. Kuna tournaments za youth, kuna tournaments za ladies. So tunataka hawa ladies wachezeshe za youth na vile vile wachezaji za ladies waanzie hapo, labda wakijikakamua ndio wafike kwa za men. Unajua wengi kuna ile inferiority complex, wanajiona kama wawezo, unapata wengi wanaogopa, but region zingine unapata ladies wako wengi sana. Unaona kama saa hii Western region yote Kenya Premier League tuko na lady referee mmoja peke yake ambaye ni Winnie Were. Ni kwa sababu ladies wengi wana ile uoga, kujitolea ile inakuwa ni ngumu. So we are working on that. Nimeweza kuongea na chairman na tumekubaliana mambo fulani yenye watafanya. Mimi mwenyewe vile vile ni instructor, tutakuja tusaidiane. Tunataka categories mbili. Kunataka categories ya ladies na overall tunataka category ya wale under 25 years. Kwa sababu hiyo ndio future ya football in Kenya. Future ya refereeing in Kenya.
Sasa hizi tunaendelea na training ya referees, inaitwa physical endurance test. Tulianza Jumanne na match commissioners, na jana tumekuwa na referees, pia leo tuko na referees. Hii training ni tunahakikisha kwamba tunapea skills our referees, kwa sababu tunatarajia kuanza ligi yetu ya Bungoma County huu mwezi wa 12. Haya masomo yatawezesha kurani ligi yetu vizuri. Tuko na representation, tumekuwa na delegates around 100. Ingawa ratio ya wasichana iko chini kidogo, nataka kuwahimiza sub county coordinators ama chairpersons wahakikishe ya kwamba next time tukuwe na at least wasichana wengi kwa hii training.
And well, on that note, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin right here at TBN Weekend Edition. On behalf of our sign language interpreter, that is Claro Mondi, and the entire EBN News team that made this broadcast possible, thank you for choosing to spend your evening with us. And before we close, here is something to carry with you tomorrow and the weekend. Hope is the one thing that we can never surrender, because the moment hope dies, everything we have fought for begins to collapse. But tonight, remember this: the dream that began our journey still burns alive and unwavering. And so, if our minds can dream it, and if our hearts can truly believe it, then yes, we can achieve it. My name is Kayesi, wishing you strength, clarity, and renewed hope as you face the days ahead. From all of us here at EBN TV, good night, and may God bless.